Service in Raleigh. It's Nick Petro with your Monday morning routine weekly briefing for Central North Carolina, but it's anything but routine as we have tropical storm Idalia that is going to impact parts of North Carolina here in the middle of the week. Plus we have some impactful weather today. So I'm going to do things a little differently than I normally do. Rather than showing slide after slide, what I want to do is kind of take you through some real-time web pages and data sources that certainly you can utilize even after we disconnect from this webinar. So again, this is our web page, weather.gov/Raleigh, weather.gov/Raleigh, or .gov/RAH. RAH is an identifier. The first thing I want to point to your attention is the weather story down here, and this is a slide that shows our basically what we have for today, a risk for today. So before we even talk about Idalia, it's certainly want to bring to your attention the risk for excessive rain and severe storms. So the graphic, this is split in two. On the left side, you'll see this is our excessive rainfall outlook. And basically what it does is it highlights the areas that have the best risk for flash flooding. So there's a level 2 out of 4. The yellow areas you see there have the highest risk for flash flooding. And now, we're in a very moisture-rich environment, slow-moving storms, so we'll make for the risk of showers and storms today some potential flash flooding. Now, we do have a marginal risk, and I'm now referring to the right side of this graphic, a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms. Any of those storms potentially could have some damaging wind. That's our main concern, is straight line wind damage with any of the most impressive, most strongest of thunderstorms today. So today we'll just have to, again, make sure you have a way to receive our warnings. Take a look at the radar every now and again if you have something going on, see where the storms are and rain are at, and basically give us a call if you have any questions as always, and be sure to follow us on weather.gov/Raleigh as we, in case we have to issue any warnings, and again, have a way to receive those warnings. So anyway, that's the current situation. Here's live radar. So fortunately, things are kind of, I would say, not too bad across Central North Carolina. There's not a lot on radar. But as the day progresses, you'll see activity blossom. By the way, this area highlighted in green here, and that's just outside of the Raleigh coverage area. That's in Duplin County. Morehead City has an effective flash flood warning, and again, that's until 12:30. So again, that's the situation there. And again, this is Monday the 28th. So for those who are watching after the fact on YouTube, this warning expires at 12:30 on the 28th of August. So again, look for additional activity to spring up and blossom up as we head into the afternoon hours. But nothing super imminent right now, unless you're well east of I-95 in the Duplin County area. All right, what else do I want to point out here on this resource here? First of all, let me show you the big picture, and a couple things I want to point out. Right here, we have Franklin, and Franklin obviously is going to stay well to our east, right? But that will send back wave energy to the coast. So folks, if you know anybody at the beach, if you know anybody taking a vacation, which, obviously, we're not obviously at the beach, right? But you might know somebody down at the beach. Tell them that they need to probably stay out of the water, or, and make sure if they do go into the water, make sure you're at an area where there's lifeguards. But there is definitely a very much elevated risk for rip currents. Probably the best thing to do is just stay out of the water, because this system here, this major hurricane Franklin, is sending back a lot of wave energy to the coast, and that's creating rip current concerns. The other thing, of course, is here's Idalia right here, tropical storm forecast to strengthen. Here's the official track from the Hurricane Center. Category 1, Category 1, Category 2, Category 3 right before making landfall here in the Florida Big Bend. And then, as they always do, weakening as they make come ashore, tropical storm there in vicinity of Savannah, Georgia, and then moving across the Cape Fear region there as we head towards Thursday there before moving out to sea. So that's the track from the National Hurricane Center. Let me go back to my tool here. But one other thing I want to point out. Let me clear the screen real quick, if I may. One thing I want to point out, look at this big plume of clouds and moisture. So this has nothing to do, today's rain and thunderstorm activity has nothing to do with anything tropical. Okay, I just want to make sure folks are aware of that. While we're talking about Idalia, this was going to happen no matter what, right? So there's a lot of moisture over the area, and this area of basically enhanced cloudiness and moisture, and there's a boundary in here. That's all going to set the stage for showers and thunderstorms today, again, with that risk for flash flooding and perhaps an isolated severe storm. So that's our problem for today, even way out ahead of Idalia and anything that may bring. So anyway, let's show you how this is all going to play out real quick. Let me just shift a few things on my screen here. I'm going to remove satellite, remove radar, remove the Hurricane Center. I'm going to put some model data on here. And this is all model data. So just want to make sure people are clear who are watching this. This is simulations to show you, how this may play out. Okay, this is certainly, this is just simply a model simulation. So let me put on here, this is depicted rainfall, where the rain may occur as we head through the next few days. So basically, this is the afternoon hour. This would be about early afternoon. And look how the simulated precip blossoms over central North Carolina. This is basically early evening. We could see this would be around midnight tonight. So again, scattered showers and thunderstorms will be, gradually tapering off as we head through the nighttime hours. But certainly plenty of showers and storms around as we head through this afternoon and evening. Now look to our south, look over the southeast Gulf of Mexico, there's Idalia, and then as we move into, this would be about midday tomorrow, about this time tomorrow, and you could see Idalia will be west of the Florida Keys, and you can see the depiction of where the rain may occur. This will be tomorrow evening, and you could see, again, moving across east central Gulf of Mexico. This would be, excuse me, this would be Tuesday night around midnight heading into Wednesday morning. And then as we get through toward Wednesday morning, there in Wednesday around late morning or midday, there's Idalia making a landfall, and you can see those bands wrapping around Idalia. Here's Wednesday afternoon, and what I want to call your attention to is how the very first of the outer bands of Idalia are sneaking up here into central North Carolina. This time frame right here is Wednesday at 21Z, which is 5 p.m. on Wednesday. So basically, we'll see clouding up conditions and rain moving in from the south during the late afternoon on Wednesday, if this model again is accurate. So again, conditions in terms of turning wet during the daytime, afternoon, especially towards the evening on Wednesday. This is Wednesday late evening, and notice how the heavier bands are starting to lift up across the Carolinas. And this would be about midnight, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Now look how the green and yellows are consolidating there across the North Carolina coastal plain and Piedmont of South Carolina. That's we'll start to see those heavy downpours and persistent downpours developing over the Carolinas here as we head through Wednesday evening. This would be in the middle of the night, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And again, eastern and central North Carolina and down through South Carolina, it's getting into that heavier rain. Thursday morning, here's Thursday late morning, Thursday afternoon, here is Thursday late afternoon. And again, it looks like Thursday evening. And what you'll notice here, let me back up. This is Thursday morning. This is Thursday evening. Thursday morning, Thursday evening. So what we're going to be in for is perhaps a somewhat of a prolonged period of rain on the northwest side of Idalia during the basically from early Thursday morning pre-sunrise right through the morning and afternoon. So I'll show you rainfall amounts here in just a bit, but the good news is, if again, based on the Hurricane Center's track, the center of it staying to our south will mean the tornado threat should mostly be to our east and south. Looks like for us it's going to be heavy rains and maybe some gusty winds, but not terribly, not the strongest, not as strong as they'd see along the coast, but certainly somewhat windy. Speaking of wind, let me go ahead and change this to, oh, well, before I do that, let's just go ahead and step through the rest of the time frames here so we can see when this exits. Again, this is Thursday late afternoon, Thursday evening. Here's Thursday night into Friday morning. And look at that, there's a band still set up. So here's Friday morning, and it takes probably till at least midday Friday until that rain tapers off across central North Carolina, and then finally heading out to sea, okay, with leaving the rest of the weekend dry. All right, so one more time, let me back up here, and then I'll show you how this all evolves. This is how at least one particular model shows it evolving. There's the rain moving in late Wednesday. There's heavier bands setting up early Thursday morning. That's Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, Thursday night, Friday morning. So we're going to be in for a period, probably you know, at least 24 hours worth of some decent rain. Particularly if I back up here and look at when the heaviest rain there, right, and kind of in that time frame. And let me zoom in real quick, and that time frame right there, you could see we're talking mainly along and east of the US 1 corridor for the core of it, and mainly across the eastern half of the state. If I zoom out and just show you the whole state, basically the eastern half of the state, south and east of the triad, is in for the heaviest rain. Okay. All right. What about wind? Again, this is just a simulation. Don't take this exactly to the bank, but just a sort of a rough idea of what we can expect in terms of when the strongest wind gusts may get up here. And let me back up here. Whoops, I apologize. I didn't have the right thing highlighted. So let me zoom out, and let me just get right to our time frame here. In the interest of time, I don't want to keep you here on this webinar all all morning long, but let's just go ahead and get right to the time frame here. This would be that is tomorrow morning, and this would be I'm sorry, that's Wednesday. I'm getting my time frame here mixed up here. Bear with me here for just a second. That would be Wednesday afternoon. Okay, this would be Wednesday evening, and then Thursday morning, early morning, pre-sunrise. And you could see as we get into the daytime hours there on Thursday, you could see a little pocket of enhanced wind right in here, right basically along the I-95 corridor. Okay, right in here. These wind speeds are 20 to 25 with some little pockets of 25 to 30. Remember, this is sustained winds, so the gusts may be a little bit higher. So basically, this time frame would be basically during the daytime Thursday. We're going to be in for some a period of some gustier winds during the daytime Thursday. Again, let me bring this back up here. This is Wednesday evening, Wednesday night, around sunrise Thursday. Daytime Thursday, and basically winds finally subside and weaken. Looks like it's going to take until the midday Friday before things kind of really simmer down. I want to point out for our friends to our east, and this would be about the strongest wind period here. This would be during the afternoon Thursday. So clearly with northeast winds, the strongest winds near the coast, obviously there'll be some sound flooding surge issues clearly for friends. If you want to see what's going to happen at the coast, I would encourage you to visit weather.gov/MHX, okay, for Newport Moorhead City office. All right, so that's how it's all gonna, we think at this point it's going to play out. Let me just take you real quick through the Storm Prediction Center. There's our slight risk for severe thunderstorms today. And as we go through tomorrow, this is tomorrow's outlook, so just general thunder. And then this would be Wednesday. Notice how right along the southeast coast, that's where that better chance for tropical cyclone related tornadoes would be, okay, mainly east of I-95, okay? So that's our severe weather potential there. Rainfall, how much rainfall are we looking at? So here's day one. This is today's rainfall. So we're looking, if you look at these color codes here, we're talking a ½ inch to maybe upwards of 1.5 inches, depending on where you're at and whether you get into that heavier rain. Again, it cuts right across almost the entire state of that heavy rain potential. So this would be Tuesday. kind of a little bit of a lull in the rainfall. Here's Wednesday into Thursday morning, and you can see the heaviest rain basically from Raleigh south and eastward, with the core of the heaviest rain right along the coast. And then as we get into excuse me, Thursday and into Friday, the rain will be pulling out. So as we look at the 7-day rainfall totals, we could see here the heaviest rain is expected. Again, this incorporates both today right through the next 7 days, including Idalia. So we're talking, basically 3 to 7 inches of rain as you get east of I-95, with 1.5 to maybe 3 inches of rain between US 1 and I-95, and lesser amounts around an inch further west back towards the Triad. Okay, so and then finally, as we head further down the road, we could look at the 6 to 10 day outlook for the next week. Once we get past, basically from Labor Day weekend on, and the temperature outlook is above normal temperatures and below normal precipitation. Okay. All right, what else? The last thing I want to point out here is just a quick summary. And let me take you to the slides here, and let's summarize impacts and timing and location here. And again, this is for Central North Carolina. All right. If you want these details for Eastern North Carolina, you can go to weather.gov/MHX for Newport Morehead City, or weather.gov/Wilmington for Southeast North Carolina. But for Central North Carolina, our concerns are wind, sustained winds of 15 to 25 miles per hour, with gusts to 25 to 30, maybe some isolated 40-mile-per-hour gusts. And again, mainly much of Central North Carolina, mainly south and east of the Triad, with the strongest winds along the I-95 corridor. The 40 miles per hour pointed out here. Remember I showed you on that map just a moment ago? So when's these gusty winds expected? From late Wednesday afternoon through Thursday evening. Okay, and then flooding rain, total amounts 1 to 5 inches, south and east of Raleigh, with 1/2 to 1 inch northwest of Raleigh, including the Triad. So again, the heaviest rainfall amounts across the eastern half of the state, 1 to 5 inches. I know that's a pretty wide goalpost right now, 1 to 5 inches. You're probably thinking, well, if it's only 1, that's not a big deal. If it's 5, well, yeah, that's a big deal. Well, it depends on where those bands set up, okay? And a lot of different models are placing that persistent band in different places. But I think suffice it to say, it's going to be somewhere in eastern North Carolina is going to see that heaviest core of 3, 4, maybe 5 inches of rain. Okay. Again, late Wednesday afternoon through Thursday night, but lasting through Friday across the northeast part of the area. And then finally, the tornado risk is fairly low for Central North Carolina, but once you get down to like Sampson County and points east and south, that's where it's going to be southeast of Laurinburg to Fayetteville to Goldsboro line. So if you draw a line from Laurinburg to Fayetteville to Goldsboro and go southeast of that, late Wednesday afternoon through early afternoon Thursday, that's when we think the greatest risk for these rain band related tornadoes will be. All right. So when we tomorrow, when we do this webinar at 11:30, we'll take a look at rivers. Okay. Right now, I don't think the river concern is that great, because even with 2, 3, even 4 inches of rain, it's all falling it's all falling across the eastern basins. And while that will result in local flooding of streams and creeks, at least at this point, it looks like the rivers can handle a 3 to 5 inch rainfall event. Okay, but if that shifts any further west, or if the amounts get above 5 inches, then we may see the concerns for some river flooding increase. But again, there's a lot of uncertainty with where those heavy bands of rain will set up. Where is that 3 to 5 inch swath going to set up? There's still some uncertainty with that. So we'll try to hone in and nail down a little bit better those swaths of heavier rain. And with that in mind, we'll have a better sense for how the rivers will behave. And we'll take a deeper look at that tomorrow. Okay. So all this will be basically consolidated into slides that I will email like we always do. So look for that in your email, or look for that on our webpage at weather.gov/Raleigh.